Why? Why is it that two people, sort of from the same point in life, end up building two completely different futures? It's a question that's fascinated me. Not just the outcomes, but the unseen forces behind it. What determines who thrives, who stalls, and who keeps on going forward without ever feeling like it's enough? I know it seems a bit cliche, but just hold on to it for a second. To explore this, I decided to talk about tools. Tools that we all recognize, such as hammers that build houses, algorithms that build websites, and needles that make clothes, and pens that develop nations. But every tool has a purpose. Every tool has a job. But the one thing that is in common with almost every tool is that every tool makes make raw materials into something greater. Now, we like to think that the formula to success is very simple. Just about 20 grams of this, 30 grams of hard work, 20 grams of discipline, all of this.
What do I do with this? I just put it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, success is not just some sort of formula that you can add and subtract variables from. It's an interesting anomaly that I, Siddhant and Nair aim to break down here today. Now, to move beyond just theory, I'd just like to state that I'm just a normal year 13 student studying here in Dubai. I cannot be anyone to talk about success. So I decided to learn from the people who have already built what many of us consider to be success. Leaders and visionaries across many different leaders and visionaries across different sectors, such as investment banking, hospitality, marketing, and tech. The first person that I interviewed was a close family friend of ours, an investment banker, a fund manager. He explained to me that for him, the one key tool that he used throughout his life in order to achieve his success was realism. Realism was to stay grounded and to know that if he took 3 trades, he had to be realistic and accept that at least one of those trades would be a loser. That not all 3 of those trades can be winners. Another, a CEO in the hospitality sector. He explained to me that in his almost 30 years of experience in the field, he had to work with an array of different customers and clients. These customers and clients all had their own unique needs that needed to be met. And because of these unique needs, he had to innovate. He told me that innovation was the key to his success. Because when every client came to him, told him what their needs were, to meet those, he had to adjust and he had to innovate in order to be successful in his field. I was lucky enough to be able to meet a CEO in the marketing sector. For her, she told me the formula to her success, the main variable was flexibility. Now, she had studied in America for politics, but halfway through, she decided that she wanted to study marketing. It was a spur of the moment decision which changed the course of her life. She picked a direction, but she didn't stick with it. And that is what flexibility is. And that flexibility is what led to her success. Now, while pursuing an internship in a large tech company, I had the opportunity of meeting and becoming friendly with the CEO. Through my many different various conversations with him, he told me that he was someone from a completely non-technical background working in an incredibly technical field. He had gone from not knowing anything about fintech or cybersecurity to being someone who was leading hundreds of people in a company that was working in this exact field. He invested in the tools that were needed. He invested in the tools that were needed to make him proficient in the sector that he was working in. Now, throughout all of these various different conversations, I found some key differentiators for each person. For the finance manager, it was realism. For the hospitality CEO, it was innovation. And for the marketing CEO, flexibility. And finally, for the tech CEO, it was proficiency. Now, I wanted a way for me to be able to understand what I just collected. All this information that I had on hand, voice recordings and interview notes, I wanted to collate them into something that I could personally understand. A formula. A formula to success, you could say. Now, the formula looks something like this. It's values multiplied by direction, multiplied by mastery, and divided by the noise. Now, let me just break this down for you. Values are what matter to you, not to the people around you, not to your parents, not to your peers, but what you truly hold dear to yourself in your heart. The direction you choose depends on you, not what you've been told to choose, not what you've been told to follow, but what truly matters to you and how to get to your end goal, how to get to your success. Many times you would think that if I follow someone that I hold very high, in very high standards, and if I follow their path, I might too be successful. But one thing that you have to keep in mind is that your formula, your direction will never look like anybody else's. Now, mastery. Mastery is the skill of learning the tools that you need to be proficient in the sector that you've chosen. It's about those quiet hours that you spend working that nobody sees. It's about the work that you put in that matters to you and not to be seen. Now, the noise. The noise is anything that distracts you. It might be competition, it might be comparison, it might be fear. Anything that distracts you from your end goal and your success is the noise. Now, I need a way to be able to test this formula, to actually test the credibility of this formula. And so I decided to apply it to a decision of my own. I had to make a decision between I had to make a decision between taking on more hours and more leadership roles in school compared to staying with the ones that I already had and improving the 3 ECAs that I was already running. Now, the reason I wanted to do this was because I was told that it would make my college application look 10 times better. But thing is, my values told me to value quality over quantity. And by doing so, I was able to show these universities that I was someone who would rather work in the 3 things that I already have and perfecting them rather than taking on more work and just scarcely doing it. Another thing that I learned was that through picking this direction, I was able to improve the livelihoods and the quality of life of all the people that were working with me and working for me. By doing so, I was able to sharpen the skills that were necessary for me to lead in the work that I was doing. Now, let's just take a pause and step back for a second. I'd like to go back to the formula. And I'd like to show you guys why exactly it is that I used multiplication instead of addition. Well, the reason is simple. When I was making my decision, every variable was playing around in my life while I was making this decision. Every variable had a part to play. I had to prioritize my values, the direction I was taking, and I had to sharpen the tools that I was working with while reducing the noise. So each variable amplifies one another. They multiply. They don't just add. They work on each other. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to go back to the first question. Why is it that two people start with the same place end up end up building two completely different lives, even though they started off with the same tools, same knowledge, and same resources? Well, I just like to say that it's the hidden variables. The hidden variables that shape everything that we are to be in the future. Well, the good news is that these hidden variables aren't set yet. You can change them as you go. As you choose your path and you follow your direction, you will understand that some variables need to be changed. And by doing so, you will stay true to your own values and beliefs. And well, that's it. Thank you so much.